everybody. I'm joined today by Chipo, and I'm super excited because we're going to get to know her and welcome to get her into the group and everything else and get to know all about her and her story. So I'm super excited. Welcome, Chipo. It's lovely to have you here.
Hi, Karen. I'm really glad to be here as well. Thanks for having me.
It's great. I'm really excited. So let's get stuck straight in and let's start to get to know you. So tell us a bit about you, what your background is. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so I'm actually coming up to my 1-year anniversary as an Amazon seller.
Fantastic.
I made my first ever sale on Amazon in May of last year. So I think it was May 20th I had my very first sale. So yeah, I'm coming up to a year.
Brilliant.
So in parallel to Amazon, I basically work as a project manager.
Right.
I'm a contractor within the financial services space. So I'm one of these absconded engineers because I actually studied electrical engineering and worked as an engineer for a while. And then I got into management consulting, and I've been working within the financial services space in the last few years as a contractor, really. Yes, I've gone through all the joys of IR35 and changes within the market. So I was sort of looking for something to do. And I've always wanted to start a business, really. I've always, you know, I've always been entrepreneurial, but I've never really done anything with it. And while I love my job, but at the back of my mind, I was thinking, I need to find something else that I can do on my own, work for myself. So that's part of the reason why I got into Amazon.
Yeah, exciting stuff. So is your goal, is your why to leave your job? Is that why you're building your Amazon business? Is it just to have extra money to do whatever you want every month? What's your why for building it?
So my whys are, there's probably more than one why, to be honest. I think first of all, it's the freedom and the independence that I've always wanted. I love my job. I love what I do. I love project managing. I tend to work within restructuring projects within banks, and it's really exciting. It's good fun. But I just feel like I want to do my own thing, build my own thing. I feel like I want to have my own time and be in control of my own time. And I think especially having had my son, I want to spend more time with my son. And that's really sort of lit a fire under me to, first of all, to look for something I could do on my own. And then secondly, to really make a go of this. And as I said, build something of my own.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Exciting, isn't it? It's exciting when you're building your own stuff, isn't it? I mean, I used to have a job that I quite enjoyed, but it's so exciting when you're doing your own thing.
Exactly. And I mean, I have to be honest, I don't enjoy the company politics. And I'm not prepared to do some of the things you have to do to climb the corporate ladder. Yeah. So yes, I think in recent years, I think I've just had a lot more clarity about what I want to do with my life, and definitely working for myself is one of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. So you started a year ago. So did you put some money into your business to start with? How much money did you put in to start with?
So to be honest, I think I probably started off with £500 because I was like, let's test this and see, find out exactly what it is. Yeah. And I'll actually tell you what made me start. When I work, I always listen to music, and I always have a YouTube playlist. And I had this really irritating advert where this guy would come on and say, would you like to learn how to sell on Amazon? And I just couldn't wait to press skip ads. But the same guy kept coming onto my advert space for about 2 weeks. And finally one day I said, let me just listen to what exactly he's saying about this whole Amazon malarkey. And I listened to it, I thought, okay, that sounds interesting. Maybe I'll give it a go. So I thought, I have no clue. Obviously, from a banking background, I had no clue about retail whatsoever. So I decided to sort of learn. So I started watching YouTube videos, and I was making for about a month actually before I started. And I was like, okay, I'm happy to give this a go. As I said, I put £500 in. And I've just never looked back. It took off. It took off. Honestly, I was so shocked. I was like, oh, this is actually happening. So yeah, it was great.
Fantastic. So do you take money out of your business, or do you just put everything back into stock at the moment?
No, I've been putting everything back in. I don't see myself taking money out for a while. I've put a bit more money in. Once I realized, oh yeah, this could actually work.
Yeah.
I put a
Yeah.
bit more money in since. So it's been good.
Just working at building that up and compounding it and building your inventory up, isn't it? For the first while is the best thing to do.
Exactly, because as I quickly realized, turnover is one thing, profit is another.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So while the turnover looks good, to be honest, the profit is, I operate around 20%.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be a while before I can take anything out, to be frank.
Yeah, but it's still way more than you'd get in if you just left it in the bank. And it's exciting doing it as well. You're building up to something that, eventually one day can help you leave your job.
Definitely.
So, yes,
Definitely.
super exciting. So what business model do you do? Did you do RA or OA or wholesale? What are you doing with that?
So I started off with RA and OA, obviously because the track that I followed and the guidance I received first was for RA and OA. Recently, I started to do wholesale, so I'm starting to incorporate a lot more wholesale into my business.
Fantastic. So which is your favourite?
So initially, I really enjoyed RA. I enjoy the retail therapy aspect of it. I love shopping. And
Yeah.
I thought this is the best business because I'm doing what I love to do. But now, a year in, honestly, I cannot stand retail. Retail arbitrage. I find it such a waste of time. I'm happy to go into the shop if I have a list and I know exactly what I'm going to get. But this idea of sort of scanning and doing this hit and miss, I find it I find it a waste of time. I'd rather sit at home and order, and analyze, and just order. So yes, I've become a lot more time conscious, I'd say.
Very sensible, very sensible. So you talk about analysing the deal. Obviously, you use BuyBotPro. So tell us about your experience with BuyBotPro.
So BuyBotPro is, by the way, in my house, we don't call it BuyBotPro.
Okay, what do you call it? Well, no.
So let me explain. So I have an 8-year-old who's really, really curious about my business, always asking me questions. He'll come and peek over my shoulder to see what I'm doing. He'll look at my numbers and say, "Mummy, well done. You've done really well today, Mummy."
Okay.
So anyway, when I got the BuyBotPro and scanner analyzer app, when you launched that bit, I kind of took that along with me to the shop, and he saw me scanning and he said, "Well, what are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I've got this really great app that I can use now, and I can scan it, and immediately I can see, can I sell this product? Are there 50 other sellers on the product? And is it going to make me a profit?" So I said, "Yes, it just stops me from making bad buys, really." And he goes, "Oh, so BBP is the bad buy protector." I was like, you know what? That's exactly what it is. It's the bad buy protector. So that's what we call it in my house.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think we should rename it. I think that's a great name.
It is. And obviously, if I buy anything now, it's like, "Mummy, did you scan that with the bad buy protector?"
Fantastic. Oh, that's a great name.
Yeah, it is. And then what was really funny was last month I took advantage of the removals, obviously, to pull all my stock out of Amazon. So my house is piled with Amazon boxes, and he's like, "Mum, you didn't scan those with the bad buy protector, did you?" Well, these all bad buys, Mum.
Next time we build some software, we're going to get your son to give it a name, I think.
Definitely.
I think we're going to hire him as our new namer.
Yeah, exactly. I just thought, like, you hit the nail on the head. That's what it does. It just protects you from bad buys, doesn't it? It's just so brilliant.
Saves you a fortune, doesn't it, in bad buys? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so are you just selling on Amazon, or are you branching out to eBay or Shopify, or are you just doing Amazon? What's your plan?
So branch out to eBay, obviously, for my bad buys. And I'd never really sold on eBay before. It's not something I'd even considered. But obviously, I need to have multiple streams of income. So it's something I'm looking to grow as well this year. Especially my second year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fantastic. So you mentioned that you do like around 20% ROI. So do you look at the profit figures as well, or do you not worry about the profit figures and just focus on the ROI? How do you work that out?
Okay, so my ROI is actually 50%.
Right.
And it's been consistent all year round, all along. And then my margins is 20%.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that's brilliant,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, I
Right.
probably.
And that's what you're
Yeah.
focused on. Fantastic. Brilliant. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just add in a random question here so we can get to know you a little bit as we talk about your Amazon business.
Mm-hmm.
So if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Ooh, any superpower? Seeing into the future.
Oh, nice one. You're the first person to choose that one.
Definitely,
Nice
definitely.
one. Yeah, that'd be a
Mm-hmm.
nice superpower to have, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, back to Amazon. So let's talk about what lessons have you learned in your journey of the last year of setting up and starting your Amazon business? What lessons have you learned?
Oh, Karen, there have been so many, partly because retail is a new space for me. So, I've had to learn everything about retail. But I think outside of operating the business, I think, first of all, I've just had to learn to be really resilient.
Yeah.
I think operating a business has its ups and it has its downs.
Yeah.
One day you're like, yay, I've got brilliant sales. Next day you're crying about something, it's literally like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I just had to learn to ride the roller coaster and, take what happens as it comes, and just adapt and pivot and sort of move forwards. So I think probably that's the biggest, my biggest takeaway in the last year. Just go with the flow.
Yeah. Go with the
Yeah.
flow. Be resilient. Very,
Yeah.
very good idea. So if
Yeah.
you woke up tomorrow and you had an extra £100,000 in your bank, would you use it to invest in stock for Amazon, or would you do something different with it?
If I had that, you know what, this model works.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about it. Would I use all of it at once? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
I think I would definitely focus more on the wholesale side of my business, which is something I'm trying to grow now.
Yeah.
Yes, I can see myself doing that, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, the quicker I do it, the quicker I can be independent.
Absolutely.
Essentially.
Absolutely. But the wholesale side often takes some more money because you need to buy in bulk, don't you?
That's it. That's
So
it.
it often takes some more money.
Exactly.
So talking about investing, would you consider yourself a spender, a saver, or an investor? If you had to pick one, what would you say you are?
I like to spend, but I need to have a nest egg. I've always invested in stocks and shares and had just a nest egg and a savings account. I'm both. I like to spend and I like to save.
Okay, great. Okay. So you're using Profit Protector Pro to reprice your products.
I am.
So what's your favourite strategy in Profit Protector Pro?
Do I have a favorite strategy? So I have to say, like, all along, up until this year, I always used balanced.
Yep.
I think Q1 has been a bit of a strange, or should I say lately has been a bit of a strange, I feel like margins have dropped within the business and I've had to be a lot more aggressive. So I'm using the aggressive for now, but it's never been something I used before. So maybe for the last month, I've been using the aggressive strategy.
Yeah.
But all along, it was the balanced sales accumulator. So, as I said, you need to go with the flow really with Amazon. And if you ask me in 6 months' time, I could be back to balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe balanced is my favorite that way. Now let me say it.
Yeah, you change it based on what's going on in your business and what's going on in the market at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah, best way to use it. It's the best way to use it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you could go back to your 21-year-old self and give yourself a piece of advice, what would you say?
Wow. To my 21-year-old self.
That's assuming, of course, you're older than 21.
Oh yeah. What would I say to my 21-year-old self? I think I would just I think one of the things I've learned is that things always work out. And I think when I was 21, I was a lot more anxious about the future.
Yeah.
And I think what I would say is, no matter what happens, you'll be fine. Which is something that I know now, which I didn't know when I was 21.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I'd give myself a lot more hope.
Okay, so if you were starting now, so if you were starting your Amazon business now,
Yes.
and you were watching an interview like this, and you were just starting out,
Yeah.
what would be like a piece of advice that you'd find really valuable? So, what piece of advice could you share with people that are just starting their Amazon business? Like a tip that you think would really help them move forward in their Amazon business?
It would be network. You know, you can try and do this on your own.
Yeah.
But it's so much better when you learning from others. You don't have to reinvent the wheel in this business. And I've just found it so invaluable to be on all the groups, you know, the BuyBotPro group, Secret Wealth Project,
Yeah.
and you learn from, you learn from other people. If you've got a question, guarantee someone has asked this question before.
Yeah.
And even having something like an accountability group, so someone who you can pick up the phone to and go, oh my goodness, things are so bad, is really, really helpful, and it's essential, really. I think there's that saying, isn't it? The man who travels alone travels fastest, but he who travels in a group travels further.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so good to have that community, really, and that's what I would encourage them to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you had to choose between a private jet and a super yacht, which would you choose?
Oh, the jet.
Jet.
I'm saying that, but I do love water. So, on second thoughts, I'm going to change my answer.
You can do that. You're allowed.
I'm going to change my answer. I think I'd go for the yacht and sail around the Med. I do love water. I love the Adriatic Sea is my favorite. So yeah. So I'm going to change my mind. Although, I mean, I like traveling.
Yeah.
So I think that's why my immediate thought was the jet, because I can travel. But you know, I didn't have to do it at a fast pace. So I can travel at a slow pace as well.
Absolutely. Do you use a prep center in your business, or do you do your prep yourself?
I do. And going back to the accountability group, I think around September, October, I was debating the whole prep center, but I wasn't coping. I was trying to prep at home, and I was surrounded by boxes. My back was aching, but I kept thinking I can only do the prep center later when I'm much bigger. And a friend of my accountability group said, no, just go for it, you know. And I'm so glad I did, because I had a brilliant Q4 because of that. You know, I could order as much as I needed. I was no longer the, what do you call it? The break in the loop.
Yeah.
I was no longer the, what's this word I'm looking for?
The bit that's moving forward. So
I was no longer the bottleneck. Exactly. I was no longer the bottleneck in my business, because as long as I was prepping myself, I was the bottleneck.
Yeah.
Yes, I do use a prep center. Brilliant. So I'm so glad I did it then. And it's just taken my business to another level.
So when you were back doing your prepping, what did your neighbours think about what you were doing with all these stuff coming and being delivered?
Fortunately, I live in a small close, and everyone's really, really friendly. So of course, initially it was like, what's happening with all those boxes? And I just said, oh, I started a little business at home. But yeah, everyone's really sweet and encouraging around here. So yeah, so it was fine. But yeah, even now, if you walk out, I've got boxes and boxes piled by the recycling ready to go. So yeah, everyone was definitely interested to hear what I was doing.
Yeah, absolutely. People do find it really interesting when you talk about it, don't they? Not everyone realizes that you can sell on Amazon. So
exactly.
If you could, let me ask you a bit of a strange question. If you could go to dinner with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be?
I'd love to go to dinner with Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx.
Right.
Yeah, I just love to hear her. You know, I just love her story, how she had this idea and she made it happen. Because I think so many of us think, oh, I'd love if I had this or that, but we never actually, you know, make that happen. And you know, the way obviously she launched her business and she's built this global brand. Like I'd just love to sit with her and find out more.
Yeah, it should be very interesting to chat to.
Yeah.
Yeah, she definitely would.
Yeah.
So What is it in your Amazon business that keeps you up at night? What worries you? Anything?
Anything that keeps me up at night. I think I set quite high targets for myself. And at the back of my mind, I'm always pushing to get to the next target, the next level. Um, so I wouldn't say that I worry about the business because, as I said, I've learned to go with the flow, and I've realized now I can just adapt and I can pivot, I can move on. So I wouldn't say worry keeps me up at night, but it's more thinking about how am I going to achieve my goals, how am I going to achieve my targets. I'd say that keeps me up at night. So it's a good keeping up at night.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you have, other than the founder of Spanx, do you have anybody that inspires you in business?
Well, I have so many role models. I follow people like Tony Robbins, Lisa Nichols. I listen to a lot of podcasts. And I really like people who operate in that space where they really just encourage people to go after their dreams and to live big and live large. So yes, I do follow a lot of people in that space, but within business proper, I'm interested in the founder of Bumble, for example, how she's also, sort of set up this company from scratch and, gone through an IPO lately, and so just people like that just operating within the space and doing their thing is really good.
Lovely. That's really nice. It's nice. If you could have like a big billboard that the whole world could read, what would it say?
And it was my personal billboard.
You can give a message to the world. What message would you give?
Well, my motto in life is fail forwards.
Right.
And the reason why is because, and this is going really deep, I think I felt every time in life I thought I'd messed up. Every time I thought I'd failed. Every time I've fallen over. What I've realized after I've managed to stand up and dust myself off is that I've actually moved forwards. I've actually been promoted. So something that I thought was a disaster is actually turned out to be an elevation.
Yeah.
So that's my motto in life, is fail forwards. So yeah, I might have that on my billboard.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's really lovely.
Yeah.
So if you were doing this interview and not me, what have I not asked you that I should have asked you?
Within the Amazon space?
Whatever you like. Probably within Amazon, but whatever you like.
What could I talk about within the Amazon space? Let me think.
So anything that I should have asked you that I haven't asked you about your business? Anything you think that someone else could benefit from knowing?
I think I've talked about the community. I think what somebody could benefit from knowing is that I think we all have our own paths to follow.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say? I think what I'm trying to say is, we all coming from different backgrounds. We've all got different resources available, and those resources might be capital to invest. It might be space to prep. It might be time. And everyone's journey is unique and completely different. And for someone to realize that no matter who you are and what you have, you can make it in this business. You can make it on Amazon. It doesn't matter whether you're starting off with, £100 and you're buying things off the clearance shelf, or, you've got £10,000 to invest. If you are consistent and if you keep applying yourself, you will grow. You might grow at a slower pace, but you will build something, worth having. So I think that's really, really would be my message really to anyone outside of what we've discussed.
I think that's absolutely lovely. And I hope that really inspires people, because definitely chatting to you has definitely inspired me, because, you're doing amazingly well. You've got a full-time job and a family, and you're doing your business, and you're making a success of it and building for your future. So you definitely really inspire me, and I'm sure that will inspire lots of people too.
Thanks. I mean, I must say, Karen, I'm working part-time at the moment, so it's good. I have time to put into the business. Yeah, and I've given myself until, I'm hoping by September, I'll be in a position to leave my job. So really, that's what I'm aiming for. But I've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you've got a lot of work
A
to
lot
do.
of work to do between now and then.
Because that's not far
So,
away, so not too far away.
no, it's not. It's not. So yeah, I've got I've set myself a big goal, and hopefully I can do it.
Oh, we'd love to have you another chat with you, like, you know, in like Q4 or something, if you can spare us half an hour or whatever, and see if you did it, see if you achieved it and managed to leave your job and change your life. That would be fantastic. Love to do an update with you.
Oh, thank you. That would be great. I'd be happy to come back and give an update at that point. That'd be great.
Thank you so much for your time, Chipo. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Karen.